You've probably heard the scripture in Ephesians 4:9 before. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. Well, if you go on and you keep reading in verses 10 through 12, it says, if either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. You know, a lot of times we hear the beginning part of the scripture and we don't hear the rest of it. We don't, read it all the way through. And what's interesting is the beginning part, it sounds like it's just talking about working together. But if you go on, it talks about why we work together. And it's because that way we can be there for each other. This past Sunday we were talking about compassion. And to me, compassion can mean so many things. It can show up in our lives in so many different ways. And having compassion for others, being there for others, can look differently depending on the situation. For me, when I'm in a situation where my friend is hurting, sometimes I just want to hold them and tell them it's going to be okay. But I know that might not be what they need. Sometimes they might need advice, but sometimes they might just need me to be silent and let them cry. And sometimes they might need something that I don't even know. Sometimes it's asking, what do you need from me? Showing compassion can show up in so many different ways. And so it's important that we're aware of those around us and their needs as Christ followers. It's how we show the love of Jesus to the people that we're close with and the people that we just meet on the street. For me, there can be different times that I need somebody to show compassion to me. And sometimes it's not easily communicated how I would need that. Sometimes I might just need to sit with my husband and hold his hand for a little bit. And sometimes I might just need to vent and tell him, hey, I just had a rough day. And him just be able to sit there and be like, I understand and it's going to be okay. I promise it'll get better. Sometimes I need to contact my mentor and just say, can you just pray for me about this? I'm struggling with this. Can you just cover me in prayer? A lot of times, we can show compassion to others and we can get overwhelmed with trying to decide how to show compassion. We can even start to think about, well, if I was in this situation, this is how I would want to be shown compassion. But what's so important is that we recognize that not everybody is the same. We recognize that not every situation is the same. And we think about what that person might need, not what we are willing to do for them. And so what I like to think about is that when I really don't know what to do for someone, more than anything, I can just be silent and just be present. And that can look like sitting in a room and holding their hands, sending them a text and just saying, I love you and I'm here for you if you need anything. And sometimes it can just look like bringing them food and putting it on their porch, knowing I might not get a call back to say thank you, and that's okay, because I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for them. And so as we're talking about compassion and we're talking about how to go from here and what our next steps are, I really challenge you this week to think about somebody who might need compassion in your life, somebody you can be there for and support, and what that might look like. How can you support them in a way maybe you haven't before? How can you just be silent maybe for somebody you don't understand their situation? Because let's be honest, a lot of times we hear something and we just don't really know what to say. That's when I believe that God works the most, in the silence. So I'll be praying this week that you have compassion and that others have compassion for you, because we know that Jesus was the ultimate compassionate person.